ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्।
Thank you. Wait your parents for a moment. If they are nearby, get their blessings and come. I will wait for a minute. Shall we start? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So yesterday we were looking at the empty weight fractions, historic weight
Sir,
estimation.
can you please share the screen, sir?
Yeah, sure. I haven't really started the presentation yet. Yesterday we were looking at the weight estimation. Today we look at the fuel weight fraction estimation. I told you we are estimating the fuel fraction using many approximations, right? So we look at those formulated. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So we were looking at this yesterday, and today we look at mission segment analysis. That is, for each mission segment, how much fuel is consumed or fuel weight is consumed. So this will, you can estimate the takeoff weight fraction using this method. So what do you do? Take a simple mission profile. For more complicated one, the approach is the same. The formula may be different. Okay. So the mission segment is W at I plus 1 by I. What he is telling is the weight at the end of a segment by weight at beginning of segment. For example, for climb, it will be W3 by W2. For cruise, it will be W4 by W3. For takeoff, it will be W2 by W1, and so on and so forth. Okay. So some typical values are given here. You can also consult the book, that is, Thomas Cox's book. He would given some range for this. So you can actually refer that and then use this value. Warm up and takeoff, typically 97%, 0.97 is this ratio. Okay. Then for climb, the ratio is around 0.985. For descending and landing, it's 0.995, the fuel fraction ratio. Okay. And so for climb and acceleration respectively, you are climbing and reaching the cruise altitude and cruise speed at 3. For that, there is a graph given in Thomas Cox also. We also explain. And this graph looks like this. Mach number is in log scale, whereas your the fraction for climb and acceleration is on the y-axis. It is in normal scale. Sorry, that also seems to be in log scale because I can see the difference between the first division and the last division. It's from 0.6 to 1 they have plotted. So both on log scale. So it looks like this. 10 power 0 is Mach number 1. Up to that, you have this kind of thing. But beyond that, if you have a supersonic Mach number for cruise, the fuel fraction becomes extremely less. Okay. So this means that you consume a lot of fuel if your cruise Mach number is here. Okay. Lockheed SR-71 may consume more fuel, of course, a stealth aircraft, so it's not built of fuel efficiency. Whereas this one, the green one, composite LWF, Mach number of 0.8, and the fuel fraction is just somewhere 0.95 or somewhere. Now for cruise, usually you use the Breguet range equation. You use the appropriate expression for turbojet or the propeller engine. So at this stage, you must have an idea of what type of engines you're going to use. Are you going to use turbojet engines or turbofan engines when you reach this stage? Otherwise, you cannot, you'll be confused what formula I should use for this. Okay, this you can determine based on the Mach number of your cruise. Your cruise Mach number will determine what type of engine you want to use. I leave it to you to find that out. So you find the correct formula for turbojet and turbofan. So the range is given by this expression. When you invert it, you get an expression for Wi plus 1 by Wi, which is given here. Okay. So similarly for propeller engines also. Then loiter, wherever loiter is there, you can use the endurance formula for turbojet or propeller engines. When you invert that, you will get the weight fraction. When you use these equations for fuel, the range and the endurance, you should be careful about one thing. make sure you are using consistent units. Okay. For example, if velocity v is in meter per second, don't use the CBHP. That is your specific SFC. Don't use it in terms of horsepower per kilowatt. It doesn't match with this meter per second. If you use this C in the appropriate unit, you will get the correct answer. Otherwise, you will get extremely wrong answers. And if you use it meter per second, endurance should be in seconds. This should also be, the time unit here should be seconds. If it is in meter per second, then you should use the appropriate unit for this. Okay, the SI unit for here, not English units. Same way here also. Okay, so you should make this only catch here. If you make a mistake here, the whole calculation will give you a very wrong weight. It may converge, but you will get a very wrong weight. Okay, so please be very careful in using the correct. It's an exercise for you. So I shouldn't really, tell you too much on this. So now you have to assume a lift to drag ratio. Either you do it from comparison aircrafts or some indication is given to you in Cork's book. You can choose from there. In specific fuel consumption also you assume some guidelines are given there. If you're using turbojet, use the TSFC. Okay. From mission requirements, you can probably estimate the range and endurance values for this. Now, after estimating fuel weight fraction in each main segment, you calculate the total fuel required to take total fuel to takeoff weight ratio. So this is 1 plus reserve fuel plus trapped fuel. This whole thing can give 6%. Okay, 5% for reserve fuel, 1% for fuel that is trapped in the tubings which carry from the fuel reservoir to the engine. That is never going to be used. It is trapped there. So into 1 minus W final by W initial. You get this equation. It is the same as what you got earlier. Remember we got one thing earlier. This formula. With the difference that instead of this W fuel by WTO, you multiply here by 1.06 or the fraction of the trapped fuel and reserve fuel. Both are same. If you do that properly, you will get the answer. Now you want this W7 by W1. That is what you want to put here in this formula. W final by W initial. You want W7 by W1 in this mission segment. So now W1 is maximum takeoff weight. W7 is final weight after all the fuel is consumed. Remember, if there is payload drop here, your job becomes a little bit more tricky. Okay, you have to drop something in between. Then your calculation, you should put a small, for example, cruise, you are dropping a bomb. Then you should add 3 prime there. After dropping the bomb, the weight is going to be different. You should account for that. Subtract the weight from the weight here, and then you can estimate the fuel fraction. Okay. So now how much fuel is consumed should be determined carefully, taking all such vagaries of your design into consideration. In general, for a very smooth mission profile like this, the W7 by W1 will be W2 by W1 and W3 by W2 and W4 by W3 and so on. W4 by W. This 5 is yes, forgotten. Anyway, say W4, W6, say that is known. W6 by W7. All these will cancel each other. What you will finally get is W7 by W1. Okay. This is the simplified version. check whether you can use this for your mission profile. Otherwise, you have to modify this appropriately. Just find the total fuel weight, and then you do accordingly. This is the 6% allowance, 5% for reserve fuel and 1% for trap fuel. You'll get the W fuel by W takeoff is actually 1.06 into this difference. Now, iterative solution to estimate the gas weight. So we need some of these, okay? Aspect ratio you may need during your calculation. You will find out where you need it when you do the issue. Then you need wing area at this stage, I doubt it, but next one you will need. For the next one, engine SFC you need, then you need this empirical ratio, WMT by W takeoff. Remember, WMT is varying with W takeoff, not constant. And you need LBD max and LBD cruise, because you want this for cruise, you want to have this W fuel by W takeoff. Initially, you guess the takeoff weight. Then you, all these equations will come into estimation for takeoff weight. Then you see whether the MT by W takeoff using your the fuel fraction estimate and using the empirical value are same. If not, substitute this empty weight there and restart again with the earlier fuel weight. When you add the fuel weight to the earlier empty weight plus the payload and whatever, you will get the initial takeoff weight for the next iteration. So keep on iterating until they are same. Then you say, this is my takeoff weight. I'm going to use it for the next subsequent exercise.
Can you repeat that procedure, sir? Once.
Again?
Yes, sir.
Again. See, you look at this equation. W takeoff is given by this equation. Here you put multiply by 1.06 as given here. Okay, for this W fuel by W takeoff. Okay. And then you substitute that W fuel by W takeoff, you multiply 1.6, use the same equation. Now you invert this equation, get WMT by W takeoff.
Okay.
So you'll get some equation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now you have the traction with you.
Yes.
Now you look at the WMT by W takeoff from the graph. Which graph?
Empirical.
Empirical graph. You have so many graphs.
Yes.
See whether both are same.
Okay.
Now if they are not the same, it won't be the same initially. So what you do is, from this, using the empirical value, you will get a WMT.
Okay.
To that WMT, add your payload, crews, passengers, everything. You will get a weight without fuel.
Okay, sir.
Then you add this fuel weight, which you calculated in the earlier iteration, to that weight.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now this is the MTOW for the next iteration for the fuel fraction.
Okay.
Now at the end of it, you will get a different fuel fraction because MTOW initially is different.
Okay, sir.
Because the MTOW is different from this graph, you may get a different, WMT by W takeoff also here. Here also you get a different value.
Okay.
Why? Because the takeoff weight has changed now.
Yes.
X-axis takeoff weight, Y-axis empty weight fraction. Suppose weight has changed from 500 to 1000. My ratio may drop from 0.65 to 0.557.
Yes, sir.
So what you get here, and finally after the fuel fraction estimate, okay, what you get there should be the same.
Okay.
As close as possible.
Okay.
Instead of comparing the weight fractions, you compare the empty weight itself. Okay, empty weight using this approach, using that approach.
Okay. Okay.
Keep iterating until the empty weights are same.
Okay.
That's the idea. Then you get the correct weight estimate. Your job is over then to do that for
Okay.
this exercise. Now the solar guys will have to find their own methodology. I don't know what they are going to do. You have to go through papers, and it's not going to be easy for you this exercise. Okay, spy plane.
Yes, sir.
Being being a spy is not easy. Correct. So you have to play a lot of games there.
Sir, why is this not applicable for solar plane?
There is a weight reduction due to fuel consumption there.
Okay, sir. Yes.
That's it. Who is this? Who's asking the question? Who asked the question?
Vignesh, sir.
Vignesh. Okay.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yeah, who is it?
Ramanathan, sir.
Ramnath, ask the question.
Sir, if you use a battery, then there would be some sort of reduction in weight, sir. But is that comparable or not?
No, nothing, no comparison. That weight is very insignificant.
Okay, sir.
Okay. The fuel weight fraction it's only 5 to 10% of the total, 5 to 20%. Okay. In fighter aircraft may go up to 40%.
Okay.
Now, if you compare that with the loss of weight in battery, how much will it be?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Less, very less.
Very less. So you don't have to consider that.
Okay, sir.
So battery also, electrical, battery, solar power, anything else, okay, where the weight does not reduce, cannot use this methodology for weight estimation.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, okay,
Thank you.
welcome. Okay, now some theory. Okay, trade-off studies. When we say this trade studies or trade, some people call it trade studies, some people call it trade-off studies. Both are the same. There's some examples given. What do you mean by this trade studies? Okay. So mission trade-off range payload diagram. When you take your final design to the VC or whoever is VC means venture capitalist here. There are people who are putting their money into it. They will ask for some deviations from here and there. They are not technical people; they are financial people mostly. So their aim will be obviously it won't be to solely to promote your technology, but they will also want returns from your technology. Okay. Or some good name. Some return they will want. Nobody will, do it for charity. That will be really having some purpose. So it is useful at this point to ask some what if questions about the mission requirements. These questions will come from them when you take the design to them. You should be prepared to answer them also. That is why you need the trade studies. What would the impact on takeoff weight if the payload weight or mission range or radius were changed? So they will say, can I use, or in other words, I can say, can you reduce the takeoff weight if I reduce my payload weight a little bit? Because of that, can I have more range? Or if I keep the total weight same and I reduce the payload weight and increase the fuel weight, can I go for a longer radius? Or they may say, I don't want such a long, range, but I want to carry more people. That will give me more profit. I don't want to go from Coimbatore to Delhi. Coimbatore to Chennai is enough for me. But I want to carry more people. If I am carrying, 50 people to Delhi, I want to carry 200 people to Chennai. Now, if I do that, how will your design vary? Can design be modified to do that? All these questions will come. So there are many types of trade studies. You have to be prepared for all kinds of questions actually, but we'll be looking only at a few, and you'll be plotting some typical trade-off studies relevant to your mission. Okay, one or two will be enough. If you do more than that, I can also, it will be difficult for me to correct also. Okay, but anyway, if nobody can stop you from learning on your own, please learn more about this. The iteration scheme discussed can now be used to extend the instance of payload and variations on the required takeoff weight. The required takeoff weight limitation may come in some kind of planes, like gliders. The spy plane, for example, may have a limitation of takeoff weight. Takeoff weight should be probably less than 10 kg, 5 kg. They may have some limitations in that. Okay, I don't know. Some planes may have. I have not given to any one of you that kind of limitation, but that can be a limitation for some kind of planes. You can not only use iteration scheme, you can use a lot of other formulae to do the trade-off studies also. So just to give you an idea of what is this trade studies. Is understood what you mean by trade studies? Devaswithan? Devaswithan understood? Vignesh,
Yes, sir.
tell something for a couple of minutes. We'll take a break. Are you ready for that? Casually, something about yourself, some joke, some news, something you want to say. Anything. Vignesh, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this weekend I plan to watch Sarpata, new Tamil movie, sir.
Oh, what is it about? I heard about it, but I don't
It's
know what
about boxing.
Oh, okay. Is it there was an earlier there's a Mary Kom movie. Is it something like that?
Yeah, I think this is about 1970s Madras based.
Okay. But is it similar to that Mary Kom movie or different? No idea.
That I don't know.
You know the actor? Why is it very famous? Why do you want to watch it? Director
After a
or
long time,
actress?
they have given a really good sports movie. So
Sports movie. Okay. Thanks, Vignesh. Yeah, we'll get back to our work. So there are different, when you talk about weight, we actually define many types of weights. Okay. So it's good to know what people mean by weight when they say the weight. So far, we know MTOW, which is, maximum takeoff weight. So now you see how many types of weights are there. Manufacturer empty weight, MEW. The weight of aircraft including non-removable items, such as all the items that are on the integral part of the aircraft configuration. It's also called as dry weight. Okay. Operational empty weight. Aircraft's weight from the manufacturer plus a number of additional removable items due to operational reasons. It is the weight of the airplane without payload and fuel. Okay. For example, He may have a galley. The galley may have some trays. Okay, these we don't include in MEW, but they may be part of OEW. The MTOW is what you are taking most of the time. Maximum takeoff weight is the aircraft weight at liftoff, when the front landing gear is detached from the ground, but we may use it in a different context. We will say that before takeoff. That is also one of the contexts. That is the context in which we will be using weight estimation, MTOW. So it includes the payload and the fuel. Sometimes there is a reference to a gross takeoff weight, just TOW. Okay, just called as gross takeoff weight as TOW. Maximum payload weight, PAY it's called. The allowable weight that when carry aircraft. The sum of OEW and PAY, operation empty weight and payload, is less than MTOW. The difference being the fuel weight. Okay. So if you add fuel weight to this OEW plus PAY, you get the MTOW. So payload may include passengers and their baggage, cargo, military weapons, equipment for surveillance and early warning systems. All these you can call as payload. Then MLW is, maximum landing weight. Is the weight of the aircraft at the point of touchdown on the runway. It is limited by load constraint, the landing gear, or the descent speed. So descent speed will dictate, because so much of momentum, vertical momentum, is going to change when you touch down. All that vertical velocity, change in vertical velocity, will be felt as force by the airplane. Okay. So accordingly, you'll get a shock, small shock or a large shock. And sometimes the strength of the pavement. The pavement, if it is mud, it might, create a small dent in the mud. Or if the pavement is concrete, nothing like that. Now, permissible loads on the pavement are regulated by ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. Now, maximum landing weight is 0.95, maximum takeoff weight is wrong, actually. Okay, ignore that. So, what you usually design, when you design your, the landing length, when you calculate landing length and takeoff length, you want to design for some worst case scenarios, but not too much. Don't go to the extreme. Okay. So, as one guideline given is, sometimes you land without the fuel being used up completely. You design for, you take fuel thinking you go to Hyderabad, but in the way you turn to Chennai and, you land there. So fuel you consume may be less than what you take. So you design your landing length, or, you assume that the landing length is corresponding to your weight, where half the fuel is consumed. Okay, this you will come when you take to wing loading. We'll look at this. And the maximum landing weight is applicable only to probably only some class of airplanes, 0.95 MTOW, which consume very less fuel. Okay, but not necessarily in other types of aircraft. The maximum ramp weight is aircraft weight before it starts taxiing. So this is maximum ramp weight is what we call as MTOW for in our class. The actual name for that is maximum ramp weight. So difference between maximum ramp weight and maximum takeoff weight, MRW minus MTOW, corresponds to the amount of fuel burned between leaving the air terminal and liftoff. This difference is only relevant for very large aircraft, since it affects the operations on the runway. Okay. For example, Boeing B747-400 has a MRW of 398,255 kg and MTOW of 396,800 kg. So the difference more than 1,000 kg, 1,455 kg is a fuel that can be burned from the moment the aircraft starts taxiing and the takeoff point, about 1,750 liters of fuel. So it can be significant and may cause some very small changes in CG if things are not taken care of properly. This corresponds to the fuel tanks of about 35 mid-size cars. So you can imagine how much fuel is burnt each time a plane takes off and lands. Well, if you want speed, you have to pay for it somehow. Okay. So the aircraft's operating empty weight is estimated components method by summing up the weight of the systems. So the wing system, fuselage, horizontal, vertical tails, control surfaces, landing gear, power plant, hydraulic and electric system, pneumatics, air conditioning, pressurization system, auxiliary power units, instruments, and furnishings. This is operating empty weight. What is that OEW? OEW is you to the manufacturer empty weight, you add the number of removable items due to operational reasons. So these removable items are this last one, instruments and furnishings. These are the removable items. So empty weight will change accordingly. So this one is dependent on the operator of the aircraft. For example, your aircraft is bought by the aircraft is rented by different airlines. Each one of them may prefer different instruments and furnishings. They may probably demand that some furniture and instrument may be removed and another brand may be installed there. So the weight may change because there is one more weight called maximum brake release weight. This is the weight at the point where aircraft starts its takeoff run. Okay, that is it will cruise from hangar to the takeoff, the initial takeoff. There itself some fuel may be consumed. It's slight difference between this and your maximum ramp weight. Look at it closely. Then all up weight generally refers to weight of aircraft in cruise condition. Due to variance of weight as a consequence of fuel burn, there is a change in all up weight in flight. For example, the weight before cruise is not the same as weight after cruise. So I'm letting you in another one which we studied in the flight mechanics performance. The weight at the start of cruise is different from weight at end of cruise. So assuming cruise velocity and height to be constant, the CL before cruise is not equal to CL after cruise. So there's a range of CL for which the airplane should be designed for. Now this range should be the range at which drag is minimum. Okay, because generally an airplane tends to cruise during most of its flight, except probably interceptors. Interceptors should think differently. Now, maximum zero fuel weight is the aircraft weight on the ground without usable fuel. Just remove fuel. Now, what is the weight? That is maximum zero fuel weight. Maximum taxi weight, the certified aircraft weight for taxiing on the runway. So the aircraft weight should not be more than this for this runway. The airport authority was certified. Okay, your aircraft should not weigh more than that. Otherwise, it may create some damage to the runway. That is maximum taxi weight. So it is not only by the runway, also by structural limits of the landing gear. Landing gear should be strong enough. There are limits on that. It cannot take more than the maximum taxi weight. Now, so one more example of takeoff diagram. Sorry, trade-off studies. The range payload diagram. An aircraft does not have a single number that represents its range. Even the maximum range is subject to interpretation. Now, since the maximum range is generally not very useful as it is achieved with no payload. That is what he's telling us. If you reduce the payload, how the range will change. So you can construct diagrams like this. Maximum takeoff weight 276.5. So many passengers and cargo are there. If you increase the range, how will the payload decrease? Okay, this diagram shows like this. 295 plus baggage, you can have a range which is so much higher. If you reduce the passengers to 253, then the range will be so much. So these are the numbers which your VCs will ask. What is VC? Venture capitalist. This one is for 233, same kind of analysis. Okay. So probably you get a larger range for useless. What he's telling is if payload is 0, you get the largest range, but it's useless. Okay. If you reduce the maximum takeoff weight further, you can get the graph will look like. They will need, range payload diagram like this to make the decision. When you decrease this MTOW, the cost may also decrease. Okay, that may be one of the reasons why they will ask for. So you can prepare MTOW versus cost, another graph. Oh, thank you. All the best. Right, so it's time we end the class. So stop recording, Sanjay.
Yes.
I'll take attendance.
Yes.